All right. Now we are moving into lesson 5. So I'd like you to get on this slide. This is slide 68. It is called What Have We Figured Out? We're going to update our progress tracker. In other words, trying to figure out now what do we know and where do we need to go from here? Okay. So what question were we trying to answer? Well, we were trying to answer where the gas bubbles came from. What did we figure out about that? We figured out that the bubbles have to come from something inside the bath bomb and the water, because the bubbles didn't happen until we put the bath bomb in the water, and we did not see any increase in mass, so we know it wasn't new matter. So we found out, and we have evidence that suggests that the bubbles came from ingredients inside the bath bomb. So you're going to just wrap lesson 4 up by recording your thoughts here on slide 69. What question were we trying to figure out? Record what we figured out and how we learned it. So answer these 5 questions. So what is that gas? What do we think the gas is? Is it any of the substances we started with, or is it a different substance? So I think we know kind of the answer to number 1. If it's any of the substances we started with or a different substance, we might be able to take an educated guess on that. Number 2, what did we observe about the state of matter? So think solid, liquid, gas for number 2. Of the substances that we started with at room temperature. So remember when Mr. Blackman put the bath bomb in the water, it was room temperature. Think solid, liquid, or gas. Were the bath bombs a solid? Were they a liquid or a gas? And how about the water, solid, liquid, or gas? So identify the state of matter that these materials were. Number 3, so then what is true for any sample of baking soda we find at room temperature? So the baking soda that we have here is at room temperature. What state of matter would this always be in at room temperature? How do we know this? Why do we think its state of matter would not change? And number 5, so if the substances that are in the bubbles are a gas, because inside the little bubble, the membrane of the bubble is a gas and not a solid or a liquid, then the gas is one trying to read this slide. Then is the gas one of the substances we started with, or is it a different substance? So let me read number 5 again. So if the substances that are in the bubbles are a gas and not a liquid or a solid, then is the gas one of the substances we started with, or is it a different substance? So lesson 5, we're going to start to investigate what the substance of the gas is. Like, what is that substance? All right, we know that it's a gas. We know that it's not a solid or a liquid. So is this a new substance? We know the materials came from the bath bomb and the water to make the gas. So is the gas an actually new substance from that? Okay, so there are some ways that we can figure this out. We can take a look at some of the properties of different gases. Okay, so we're going to look at in lesson 5 is the gas. So now we're going to look at the gas coming from the bath bomb. Is it flammable? And is it denser than air? So flammability and density. Flammability is a property of a material to go up in flames, to go, fire, have a reaction. When you light a match and you take that match and you put it on paper, the paper's going to burn. So it's the ability of a substance to burn. So we're going to see if this substance has the ability to burn. Now, if it does, we can take a look at all the different gases that have the ability to burn, that have that property, and maybe start to narrow it down. Same with density. If the air is denser than air or lighter than air, that's a property of substances. And if it's denser than air, then we can again use that to help us identify, sort of eliminate the different gases, okay, based on that property. So in slide 71, there is a video. The first investigation is on density. And you're going to look at density of helium. So that's just a gas, okay? We're taking a look at the density of helium and seeing, what's going to happen with the helium, all right? Okay. Will the match be extinguished below the helium or above the helium? So I know the word extinguished makes you think of flammability. The reason this is about density is because if it's heavier than air, then the air above it will have to snuff out the flame. Okay? If it's lighter than air, then the air below the helium will snuff it out, the flame. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have questions. All right. So you're going to do slide 71. Okay. And then you're going to do slide 72, investigation B on density. So now that we looked at helium, let's take a look at the density of the gas in the bath bomb. So we're going to see the gas come out of the bath bomb and do a similar investigation. Again, will the flame be distinguished below the gas in the bottle or above the gas in the bottle? Again, if it's lighter than the gas, if it's lighter than air, then the air would have to go up to snuff it up or to snuff out that flame. If the air above it is heavier, okay, then it's going to have to sink. It's going to have to snuff it from above. So so watch the videos, numbers 1 and 2. Highlight the correct bolded word after the video as well. The gas in the bath bomb is more or less dense than air. Here's how you know. If it's less dense than air, meaning if it's lighter than air, the gas in the bath bomb, if it's lighter than air, it will rise. And if it's more dense than air, it will sink. And you'll know that by what happens with the flame. Okay, so you're filling out slides 69, 70, and 69, 71, and 72.